Hello and welcome to Inside Corporate Troy. I'm Tara Thompson-Cusack, President and CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce, and I'm very excited to welcome you here today where we're going to get a glimpse into one of our platinum level members. So, first I'd like to take a moment and thank our presenting sponsor, Trion Solutions. Stay tuned for our commercial break where you can learn a little bit more about them. But today we're going to learn about, I don't know, friends with benefits. Hello and welcome to Inside Corporate Troy. I'm Tara Thompson-Cusack and I am joined today by the amazing and most charismatic person I know, Dean with Austin Benefits Group. Dean, hello.
Hello, Tara. How are you doing today?
I am good.
It's great to be with you.
Good to be with you always. So I wanted to first thing, right now we're doing this video series to kind of introduce our members to some of our platinum level and get a little sneak peek into what you do.
Level?
You are.
Oh, wow.
See, I like to surprise.
Terrific.
It's
Thank
pleasant
you.
surprises. But
Very good.
to get things started, Austin Benefits Group, they're doing great things, but why don't you first start off and tell us a little bit about Austin Benefits Group and what you guys do?
Well, Austin Benefits is the premier employee benefit provider for small groups, mid-size and large corporations. And we provide benefits to everyone.
Okay.
Whether it be health insurance, dental, life insurance, FSAs, HSAs, all through the gamut. If it's a benefit, we provide it.
So you're kind of a one-stop shop for benefits.
We are.
So
Been doing it a long time too, 24 years.
Okay, so how did this get started, just to get things rolling?
Well, and it's a really good question because it's important, because I was formerly the area vice president for Unum, and Unum is the largest disability company in the world. So in my job responsibilities, I worked daily with brokers throughout Southeast Michigan and throughout the state, and even throughout the nation, frankly. And I recognized this giant gap between the services that brokers provide from client to client. And particularly, it was what became of the Austin Advantage. Because the Austin Advantage really is, we're handling all of our clients' benefit administration, member management. So when somebody is hired or fired or they terminate their employment, we handle all of those changes with the insurance company. We handle their IRS woes of the 1094,
You say IRS and I'm already
95s.
like, oh, good,
I know.
yay.
Well, think about how our clients feel. They have to do it, right? And we take that off of them. We handle all the IRS filings for them. We're handling any claim questions that any of their employees have, and we're in it. We're rolling up our sleeves, and it's hands-on all the way through the process. Which, by the way, before we move on to the next one, most brokers will leave their client to solve their own issues and solve their own problems. And that's why we created Austin Benefits. And 24 years later, we're better, stronger, faster, and the market continues to evolve. And I'm so proud to have such an amazing team making me live out my dream.
Well, I'm not going to lie. Your team is amazing, and I love working with them all the time. You really are.
I am. Very fortunate.
But they're lucky, too. I'll give them that credit. They're lucky, too.
Stop. You're making me blush now.
Well, you did bring up the fact that you saw this gap. You identified this gap with these brokers. But now, as you're into this role, you're talking with C-suite level employees or employers all the time.
That's right.
What are some of the things that they need to be paying attention to, or what they need to do to take that next step?
Well, I think the next step is, especially as the marketplace moves to leaner. So, I mean, there's a big wave right now, and during this time, where there's economic uncertainty, that people and companies are getting leaner. And we really review their process for enrollment. Like when you onboard a new employee, right? Just like at the Troy Chamber, when you bring on a new employee, your team has a certain process that they follow. We help companies follow that process as efficiently as possible. And we're using technology, different onboarding techniques to be able to do that. And in addition to that, we're handling all the benefit administration for them. So it really streamlines and cuts through, especially for the HR people, and captures the essence of what they're really supposed to spend time doing. I mean, really, can I ask you a question? I know you're interviewing me.
Go. Yeah, I like this.
I mean, But
role
really,
reversal.
I mean, as the CEO
Yeah.
of the Troy Chamber, I mean, you don't want your HR person doing, the typing in of an employee being added or terminated or staying up in compliance with benefit plans. The responsibility should be your broker.
Well,
right?
it's also
that's true.
But you're right about that. I think.
I know I am.
Well, but the thing is, though, when we talk about it, you're not replacing HR.
Not at all.
You are helping them actually get to what they should be concentrating
That's
on.
right. Because the pressure's on. I mean, the stress levels that our HR partners have daily is off the chart.
Yeah.
They are stressed out. They are burnt out. They're dealing with all the complexities. The new Michigan legislation, with the sick
Sick pay and all those things, those changes keep happening.
All the changes that are happening, they're focused on that, developing their workforce, developing the culture of their workforce. My goodness, you don't want somebody typing in whether Jane or Johnny, is leaving the organization, joining the organization, COBRA notices, and all the other stuff. So that's that Austin advantage that we bring. But the C-suite really needs to pay attention to the difference. Because there's a difference. There's a difference in the taste of coffee. There's a difference in the taste of everything that we eat. You go to one restaurant versus the other. In benefits, it tastes different here.
Makes sense. So you brought up the fact that HR, we both know, that is a very stressful job.
Very stressful.
They are spending time with the employees. They're kind of the first line of defense sometimes. But when we talk about this, you guys launched a new program per se.
Very cool.
That really is looking at stress and mental health as a whole. And I think this is just monumental change for this industry. But can you tell us what that is and tell us?
No.
Tell you. Come on.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, well, with the program launch, it's been very successful.
Okay.
And
what's the name of it?
It's unique. It's Mental Health Connect. So what the program is, for your audience, is we basically brought together a very unique solution that's one of its kind. And it's only available to Austin Benefit clients.
Okay.
And we partnered with Rivers Bend to help the mental health crisis and help people that are searching for the much needed help. Because backing up for a step, there's a mental health crisis that's going on across our country
100%.
in Southeast Michigan. It
COVID
just is
didn't help that.
It is at crisis levels. And we and our team received so many phone calls, Tara, that their child couldn't find the right therapist, that they themselves couldn't find the right therapist, that it wasn't covered properly by insurance. They didn't know where to go. They didn't know how to get help. And, think about it. If my child or my spouse or your spouse or whatever, our employees, they needed help, how would you help them? How would you direct that care? Would you tell them to go to Google? I mean, go to the Blue Cross provider directory?
Yeah.
Of course you wouldn't. So we developed a program in concert with Rivers Bend that is a simple 3-step process. Again, exclusive to Austin Benefit customers. First, they would dial the designated number. And who would answer? A licensed counselor right away, to be able to assess the employee's situation or dependent or child, whatever the circumstance is, that they would assess that right away. And then they'd connect them, that's why it's called Connect, to connect them right away with the right people that can help. Right down to either a virtual therapy or a counsel visit, or a face-to-face, or whatever that is. Even if it was a drug or alcohol situation, if it was a suicidal situation, whatever the circumstances, we've enabled the right resources to be able to direct those employees or dependents in the right place to get care right away.
It's a huge deal.
It is a huge deal. I was with a customer yesterday and we were talking about this. He brought to the forefront that he was having issues with his daughter. And I said, please tell me more. What's going on?
Yeah.
And he said that he was looking for a counselor to be able for his daughter. And He went to Google, just like you and I would. How do we
do.
if it's a new situation, how would you know what to do? So anyway, he was telling me he went to Google and found the best rated and, dialed their phone number, all to find out that it was a 2-month wait before his daughter could go in and talk to somebody.
Which in mental health, you can't wait.
You can't, because it only gets worse, right? So I said, hold on, and I gave him the information that was necessary. He called, got an appointment within 48 hours for his daughter. And that was the connection.
Well, it also...
Right away. So think about that.
Yeah.
I met with him yesterday. He called yesterday. And already within 48 hours of me handing him the piece of paper, he already has a top-notch counselor speaking with his daughter. That's amazing versus what other people today are experiencing.
But it's good from an employer standpoint as well, because if your team can't focus on the job because they're dealing with these crises, they have to put their family first. If your brain isn't into it, you just need someone to be able to say, we can provide this to you. Here's how we're going to help. Here's the phone call. Here's what you need to do for the next steps. And that takes so much off a parent. It takes so much off that, where that person can possibly have a mental, I hate to say mental break from all the stress and fear and be able to go back to work, per se.
That's it. You said it. That's it. That's why we did it.
Yeah.
And it was hard. It was difficult to put together. But we brought together the right resources. I've had personal experience with my own kids to find, different, therapists and things like that. And it is a big challenge. And look at the industry that I'm in. Yeah. If it's hard for me, can you imagine other people? Else? Right. They had no idea.
Well, and a Google search is right. The first 3 are going to be the first ones that get called, and those are always going to be a waiting list.
100%. And who do you know? Yeah. How do you know who to call? Who's the right one? Was it a Google paid ad? I mean, what was it? So to put people in the right place, right time during this crisis. And this is free to our clients. I'm paying for the service and additional service that we're providing to them. And it is a fantastic benefit. And so far, it's still young and still early, and we're listening to our customers and their employees too. But so far, double thumbs up.
I love it.
It's really been a great program.
Well, Dean, I know your heart, because you always do put your heart in the forefront to make sure you're always doing the right thing and helping people. But this goes back to your kind of social responsibility question.
Yeah.
I've always done great things. Like I came to a backpack event over here.
I know, that was amazing.
You do these amazing events to give back to the community. Why is that important? And tell me a few of the great things you guys are doing.
Well, you and I have talked about this before. And we're a very fortunate company. We have great people that come every day to seek out our mission. But our mission is bigger. And our mission is to give back to the community that gives to us. And I take that right straight to heart to do it. And I don't demonstrate it by words, I demonstrate it by action.
Absolutely.
Because action is much louder than words. And the backpack drive that you mentioned, we had a lot of people that helped us do it.
It was so much fun.
None of us could do it by ourselves.
This place was packed.
It was. And we had over 100 people here helping us do it. But we delivered 650 backpacks to Orchard Children's Services that went directly right to the kids before they went back to school. It was heartwarming. And the other thing that we did was, and our team is so great, we actually went to the distribution place where they were distributing it to the kids.
Oh,
so we
how
saw
wonderful.
It all the way through. And the generosity of our clients to give them thank you for all the people that helped us do that, because it was heartfelt. And then to see the kids' excitement when they got the backpacks that they otherwise wouldn't have of the school supplies to make them successful. That's what it's about. And helping many other charities that you're aware of to do that, right? On the Wings of Angels. I mean, I could keep, listing on and on.
I'm never surprised by the ones you step up for, because you always step up.
Well, we certainly try. Right down to Walsh, right? With a golf outing and the scholarships that people were awarded, it's just been a great thing, and we plan to do much, much more for people. It's very exciting.
Well, Dean, obviously I've had a great time chatting with you. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers today?
You know, I just think in this time of rate increase and all the rest, so going back to business before we conclude, is, you know, most of the people's open enrollments have been done and they've been concluded.
Yeah.
And the question that I have for everybody is how much better could your open enrollment have been? What about the education? What about the personal meeting, employee to employee, to make sure that you're fulfilling those needs for each one? Because after all, that's cultural for employees and employers. It's really important to make sure the benefits equal the culture of any organization. So my ask would be, one, make an assessment. How did your open enrollment go? What was the score? Was it a 1 or was it a 10? Because it should be a 10 all the time.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, when's the last time you've reevaluated your plan? I know perhaps the open enrollment is already done, but that doesn't mean that people can't still do a reevaluation.
Makes sense.
So I think that that's what I wanted to,
like
wrap it up, and what we have to add not only to our clients, prospective clients, the community at large, and keep on going. So it's great. We like making people better.
I like it.
That's a good thing.
I like it. Well, Dean, thank you so much for joining us. I hope some of our members get to have a really good understanding about all the great things you guys are doing and you have to offer. But that's all we have today here on Inside Corporate Troy. You guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.
My name is Kamal Shohaib. I am the owner of Choice Properties and the Choice Group, and we do business in 5 states. We started dealing with Trion about 10 years ago, and they were highly recommended. We like to deal with companies that care about the community that they do business with, and we feel Trion does that because we witnessed the wonderful things that they do for the community on so many levels.
And that is why we rely on Trion.
You can always rely on Trion.